match because I predict these things.
Roman Kopylov takes on Paulo Costa this Saturday in the co-main event of UFC 318. I think this is going to be a fun fight. I think this is going to take place on the feet. I think these guys are going to be throwing leather, looking to hurt each other. So I think this is going to be a really fun banger. You know, Roman Kopylov, he's 34, 6 foot with a 75-inch reach, and he's 14-3 in his career. Very dangerous guy. I'm curious to see if he can kind of get that signature win and really start getting kind of elevated to those the contender status at 185 pounds. But he's 14-3, so really good record. Multiple time combat Sambo world champion. He's an excellent southpaw striker, very fast, great feints that he has to set up his strikes. Really good leg kicks, body kicks, powerful jab, moves very well, lateral movement, bouncing on his toes. Fights behind his jab very well, just kind of poking and sticking his opponents with it at varying speed and power. Will mix in takedowns to his striking just to kind of keep guys guessing, and just very crispy on the feet. Has a lot of weapons, very good kicks, side kicks, pretty good chin. Was eating shots from Curtis in that fight. Has been hurt before though, and 87% takedown defense. So all around very well-rounded guy with a lot of finishing potential on the feet, taking on Paulo Costa, who's also 34, 6'1", with a 72-inch reach, and he's 14-4. So both these guys same age, relatively the same height, but Kopylov is going to have a 3-inch reach advantage, which I think is going to be, pretty substantial, considering I think this fight's going to take place on the feet. Paulo Costa, he's huge for the division. Really good boxing. Doesn't seem to have the most power in his hands though. It's been kind of tentative at times ever since he got finished by Adesanya. We don't really see him kind of walking down guys the way that we did at the beginning of his career, but has a really good jab to the head and the body, very hard leg kicks, batters guys' legs. And in one of his last fights, was it Strickland? Maybe, yeah, it was Strickland and Whitaker. He was just slamming leg kicks into those guys. So that's something that Kopylov's going to have to address early, or it's going to be a big problem for him. He also has really fast head kicks, just snaps up those legs to guys. And I think he caught Whitaker at the end of the first round in their fight with a spinning wheel kick. Probably would have got him out of there if the round wouldn't have ended. But susceptible to low kicks as well, though. Was getting hurt by those by Whitaker. Got hurt by Sean Strickland in their fight by Sean checking his kicks. So I think that is, Kopylov's going to have to address those early. If you can get a few of them checked, maybe Paulo Costa will start to back up on him, because if he doesn't, it's going to be a long night out for him if he doesn't address those. Costa is a jiu-jitsu black belt as well, 80% takedown defense. So both these guys, really good takedown defense. I would say that Costa has more submission ability than Roman Kopylov, but I imagine this is going to stay on the feet. I don't want really see these guys shooting takedowns unless they get hurt, but we'll see what happens. And Paulo Costa, his cardio was suffering versus Strickland, and just being that big yoked up dude, you kind of worry if he's going to have the cardio and the gas tank to go the entire fight. But again, that was 5-round fight, and he was kind of getting pushed back the entire time on, walking backwards against Strickland's pressure, so that can really, tax your gas tank. But I'm gonna go with Roman Kopylov in this one. He's just looked. I just think he's looked better. He's looked better over his last few fights. Paulo Costa had that split decision with Sean Strickland, but just really couldn't get anything going in that one. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. Was looking pretty good against Robert Whitaker, but then Whitaker kind of took over in rounds 2 and 3. I just think Kop will be too busy. I think he'll be too busy with that jab, with his combinations, his leg kicks. I think he's going to be faster. I think he'll mix up his strikes a little bit better, look to get in takedowns as well, just to keep Costa guessing. And I think his forward pressure will be a lot for Costa, who, if you can get him constantly backing up, he kind of rushes his punches and rushes his attacks, and tends to gas pretty quickly. I just think Kop's going to be a little bit more dangerous and looking to land more dangerous. Looking to land a little bit more damage. I don't think Costa's going to have a lot of confidence going into this one. He's low output at times and doesn't have a ton of sting on his punches unless it's his kicks. And I think Kop will be able to be kind of getting the better of the exchanges, just be dictating the pace and where and how the fight takes place, getting more respect, landing with a little bit more consequence, landing a little bit more damage. Kopalov's been the more active fighter as well. Costa's fought twice in the last 3 years, I think it was, and he hasn't won in 3 years. His last win was against Luke Rockhold in August of 2022, and before that it was a win over Yoel Romero in 2019. And I get it, he's been fighting, you know, the who's who of 185 pounds, Adesanya, Vettori, Rockhold, Whitaker, Strickland. But regardless, you know, doesn't bode well for your confidence and your momentum going into these fights. And Kopalov, he's fought 7 times, or no, Costa's fought 7 times in the last 7 years, and this will be Kopalov's 8th fight in the last 3 years. So I think this fight was supposed to take place back on June 28th as well. Yeah, it was supposed to take place on June 28th on the Topuria versus Oliveira card, but Paulo Costa got sick. So that's another kind of a ding against Costa. Is not very active, was recently sick, you know, and he's a guy that cuts a lot of weight. So, you know, he's cutting weight, dieting, trying to peak for his fight, and then he gets sick, you know, it probably just throws off his entire kind of camp and, you know, mindset going into this fight. But you could say the same thing for Kopalov, just having it pushed back. But I think Kopalov gets this one done. I think he's as of late just looks a little bit better, has a little bit more finishing potential, and has just been the more active fighter. So I think he can beat Costa. I could see him getting the KO, but Costa's tough. You know, he only got KO'd by Adesanya that one time back in the day. Other than that, it's been a lot of decision losses. But you know, losing to Vettori in 2021. Not a good look for me. You know, I don't think Vettori is that great, and I think Kopalov can get this one done. Paulo Costa is a sizable underdog, plus 225. Kopalov is a minus 275 favorite, which I get. You know, I do think I would think it'd be a little bit closer than that, just because Costa's got a lot of, you know, high level experience. He's hard to get out of there. He's tough. He does have you know, he is dangerous on the feet for the most part. But I think Kopalov gets this one done. I think he's going to do enough to get a decision. Thanks.